A very good afternoon, good evening, friends and families, brothers and sisters. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Roshan Khan, in the raw on RK's Guyana Free Media, as the day is about to wrap up. For me, it was a tiring and a fatiguing and some would say stressful day. But I'm fine, I'm well, and made it through. Had a headache, but you know, some of us just don't just give up. We do it. We just got to do what has to be done, like what the government of Guyana is doing to make up for all the madness over the last 5 years. Like what they're doing. We have to admire them and the peace and the love they're trying to generate and the harmony and the opportunities and the facilities. They're trying to give everybody. The one laptop for family was established as soon as they took power. And there's a special fund being created thanks to the government of India. Thanks to the government of India. And thank you again, government of India, for helping us to try to facilitate this one laptop for family. That is a good thing, and I decided that on the Kite Show news today, September 15th, in the raw, with 2-year deadline, Guyana running out of time to audit LISA 1 and 2. And why? We'll be forced to accept 10 billion costs US, according to the IMF. So the previous government was more involved in putting all the resources and energies to try and win elections, hook or crook. And as we saw, mostly by crookery. Mostly by crookery, friends and families. So let me deal with this article quickly, so that we have something to show tonight in the raw RK's Guyana Free Media. Remember, it's on Facebook usually. It is also, if not now, it will soon be, and this might be the 140th episode or more. I've lost count, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. So otherwise, we Guyanese people, we have to face that cost of US $10 billion. Can we imagine this, friends and families? Okay, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has warned Guyana since 2016 that one of the most critical challenges it faces is conducting effective cost audits, especially when it is taken into account that the Stabroek Block production sharing agreement with ExxonMobil only gives the nation a 2-year window to contest unreasonable or inflated costs. So imagine, friends and families, that they're spending the money, they will be building us, and our people over the last 2 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, the time is, whatever time it really is allotted, is coming to an end. And what are we to do as a people with such weaknesses? We have countries that are trying to guide us, but our government at that time was more interested in trying to hoodwink people and to win elections instead of trying to truly save Guyana and save some of these monies for our future generations. Because it is known that these oil companies and these investors, all they care about is themselves and their shareholders. They really don't care about the host country. And they will be prepared to suck and take everything out of the earth and to leave us in pain, bankrupt, a shame, a broken country. And they will say, we wasted it. We caused it because we are corrupted or in poor management, like what they have done to many, many African countries and other third world countries, my dear, beloved, divine friends and families. Back to the article. With such a timeline, it would mean that the country has to act swiftly, or else those costs, as reported by the oil giant, would have to be accepted. The International Monetary Fund says. They're cautioning us. The Liza Phase 1 project, which was approved in 2016, is said to cost US $3.7 billion, while Liza Phase 2 will be approximately US $6 billion, bringing the total close to US $10 billion. So what happened? We are supposed to share the costs. As far as I know, I might be wrong there too. But these companies are known to do it in such a way that they will add their part on to inflate the costs, and so we will end up paying their share. This is the madness. This is the juxtaposed weak condition we as a people are in here in Guyana, my beloved divine friends and families. In spite of the IMF's advice to get the audits done as quickly as possible, Guyana is yet to audit a cent expended by ExxonMobil since 2016 for Liza Phase 1 or 2. So I'm going to write an article in the newspapers also. Try to do it tonight so we can send it off tonight to catch tomorrow, or early in the morning to catch the Thursday 17th newspaper of September. To compound the situation is the fact that the PPPC administration is expected by month-end to grant approval for Exxon to expend billions of dollars more on another project called Payara. The development is likely to cost another US $6 billion. Given the nation's capacity deficiencies, our ability to be weak then, our capacity is weak, and our inability to really study or get to the crux of what's happening. Given the nation's capacity deficiencies, international transparency bodies have strongly contended that the two-year deadline the government has accepted, along with the fact that it can only do one audit per year, is not sufficient. They have stressed that the timeline should be extended, especially making this point is Oxfam America talking on our behalf, that we have to fight to get this timeline extended, and it can't be just one per year. Why the company, the oil sucking nation and money wealth sucking nation, wealth sucking company of poor nations put these things in place is because companies like ours are known to be very weak. We are very small. We don't have the resources. So these companies have a tendency of taking advantage of us. So some companies, some people in Trinidad, organizations around the world, Transparency International, Oxfam of America, and other good people are trying to guide us. The entity is a confederation of 20 independent charitable organizations which seek to fight some of the factors that lead to poverty, one of them being the poor governance of extractive wealth. So one of the problems the countries face is because the government can't govern well, and then the nation ends up in poverty, depression, and sickness, so to say. Extractive wealth. Oxfam America noted that the expiration periods for audit rights are set out in petroleum contracts and tax laws. It stressed, however, that these deadlines differ from one country to the next. It noted that in Ghana and Kenya, for example, the authorities there retain the right to complete audit companies within 7 years. So nobody is to touch any oil or do anything, and we must have at least 7 years. That is what Ghana and Kenya are doing in Africa. Let's take a message off of their book, Friends and Families. In Peru, the limit for audits is 4 years. Even in the USA, the transparency body highlights that audits are allowed to be completed within 3 years. With all their wealth and all their resources and all their power and their size, they are given 3 years, and we are given 2 years. Why? Because our negotiators, to my opinion, sold out. It's stressed, however, that these deadlines differ from one country to another. I skipped a part there and I'm moving on. Oxfam warned that even a 3-year deadline is not advisable for developing countries such as Guyana, given the limited financial and human resources that are likely to delay the audit process. Further to this, the organization said that it is equally important to keep an eye on record-keeping provisions in the petroleum contracts and tax laws. Wow. It said oil companies should be required to keep all their records in country for easy access by the auditors during the audit period. I repeat, all companies should be required to keep all their records in country for easy access to the auditors during the audit period. If you remember, they also made it compulsory to sign an agreement that the people can't know what agreements were signed. Our citizens must not know. And we have to listen to some of the Trinidadian, because they're very experienced in oil and gas. And they have been telling us, including the Prime Minister, Kite Rowley, how to be cautious and how to follow their methodology and ways. But once that period expires, it becomes very costly to access records and therefore practically impossible to audit them. As I approach the end, Oxfam warned that Guyana needs to take the auditing timeline for these costs as a matter of grave concern, as it could cost the nation billions more. So, friends and families, I hope you're listening to me. You need to put pressure on your government. You need to put pressure on the country and our leaders. And we need to hold those accountable for selling out our country and our oil and all the opportunities for our future generations to come, so that they, the few, could have eked everything out for themselves, their friends and their families. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Ocean Khan, saying thank you for joining me in this, the RKS Guyana Free Media, and farewell, friends.